Most businesses think that migrating from one CRM to another, all it takes is just take this data, chuck it into the new system, and off we go. That's not how it works. This is exactly how companies lose data, companies confuse theme, and spend way more money than needed in migrating to a new tool, seeing it's not compatible and not working, and going back. I've seen this so many times. Because the thing is, CRM migration isn't just about moving the data from one tool to another. It's about making sure the data that you move is properly structured and clean so you can have better reporting, have the proper automations that are actually needed, not random shit, making sure the system is fully compatible, scalable, and optimized for your sales team so they are comfortable, and at the end of the day, your sales team are utilizing the new software that you brought for them. And it's solving the problems due to which you moved out of the CRM. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly the step-by-step process that I've trained my team on for doing the proper migration for all the clients that usually come to us with these requests. If you're new to this channel, my name is Fahad. I'm the founder of AutomateMyBiz. We are a company that specializes in building systems, automations, and AI. Alright, so let's get cracking at it. So the first thing I need you guys to do is audit your CRM. The hell does that mean, Fahad? Let me show you how. So auditing is the foundation of a proper CRM before a successful audit. So the way you do that is by, before you do any sort of migration, reviewing everything that you actually need, what you need, what you don't need, what's necessary, what's unnecessary, what's duplicates, etc. So these are the things you're trying to look into, right? Objects like contacts, companies, these are different objects, right? Tickets, workflows, reporting, and I need to start looking at all the things that are actually needed and not needed. Like in contacts, you could have so many properties, right? And most of these properties you don't really need. I had so many clients where I remember one client had like 200, 300 custom fields, and I asked him, how many are you utilizing now? He's like, only 30% of it. I'm like, why the hell do you have these many fields? Then he's like, totally forgot about it. I created them long back. We didn't really need it. So I wanted to review all the properties by looking at the properties, trying to see what properties actually. Sometimes people have the same properties multiple times. Salesperson A is using this property, salesperson B is using this property. For example, annual revenue, yearly revenue. It's same thing, but two different people are using two different things, trying to see what's repeating, what needs to be merged. Same thing workflow, same thing with stages. You go to the opportunity section in the CRM and you're like, hey, are the CRM stages clear? Are they grouped correctly? Are they spelled correctly? Do they define the right sales process? Is there any different stages that we need to add? Do we need to remove? So we try to audit exactly, did we do things right? Because most of the time you need some updations, and let me confused on this. CRM specialist, 15 years of experience. If you're going to help me migrate to a successful CRM, for that I need to make sure that my stages, my fields, and everything is done properly. So could you please help me do XYZ, whether it's creating custom fields, creating different stages, or defining certain pipeline stages, or removing. Can you please do XYZ for me? Here's what I do, here's what my sales process looks like, and here's exactly what I do in each of these sales processes. That's it. Give it to the AI, and then say one important prompt towards the end. Ask me any number of questions you need to be fully clarified, and then give me suggestion. Very important. Put that in. It's going to ask you questions. You can go back and forth, and it's going to properly tell you, hey, you need this, Fahad. You don't really need this stage. You need these fields. You don't really need these fields. So I'm going to start auditing, right? So once the auditing is done, and we start to identify what do we need, what do we not need, then I needed to create a simple checklist, right? I need to create a simple checklist. This is for you and your team members, right? Because sometimes you may think like, hey, the team is, you are like, hey, we don't need this, but the team is like, I use it every day. So it's very important you create a simple checklist with different objects. Like, you can add, each object would be its own section. This is something that we did for a client. We're like, hey, these are all the stuff that you have in your in the CRM currently. You have this in the company fields, you have these many information. In the contact fields, you have these many information. In the deal fields, you have these many information. And I selected the things that she needs to send them a list like this, and we asked the client like, hey, can you please select the things that you think is important? And I gave her some suggestions like, hey, these things I think it's needed, this is not needed, but at the end of the day, it's your decision. Please tell me what you need. So she selected all the necessary things that she needs us to move, and see, custom fields, forms, the list of forms that we have, the list of dashboards that she have, automations, we listed everything out necessary for the team to convey it better. It's often you can't convey everything in one single call, so no, put extra custom fields in there, right? New things that was not there. So anyways, this is the audit list on what we'll be moving. Select the things that you need, unselect the things that you don't need. Makes it much easier and visualize things. And once you choose what you need and no need, right, now we get to this important part of a proper CRM migration need. Now I want you to properly export everything and what you don't need from the audit that you've just done, and by talking to your team members and they selected and unselected. Before you set up the proper CRM, right, we need to make sure this is properly cleaned. How do we do that? So firstly, I needed to start exporting the data, right? So click on export data, wherever the settings is, click on the export the data. And so once you export the data, it's going to be in a CSV file. I want you to put them in an Excel or Google Sheets. I prefer Google Sheets because in the web, I can send it to my team members. Put them in a Google Sheets. It's going to look something like this. And this is the exact export we took for a client, HubSpot, for the contacts object. So it's quite simple. It's somewhat structured from HubSpot, but the thing is, you can't fully move them. This is super unclean. What do you mean, Fahad? What do you mean? So calm down. I'll tell you why it's unclean. When you're moving to a different CRM, right? The different CRM expects things in a certain way. That's first. And secondly, there is a lot of formatting duplicates. In email, there is someone's phone number that you need to fix so that you can have proper, up-to-date reporting in your new system. Because when you're moving into a new like, let me give you an example. You're moving into a new apartment. Are you really going to take all the junk from the old in here? No, you're going to make sure everything is cleaned up. You're making sure everything is organized, and then move to a new apartment. That's all we're doing. How do we make sure we do that? All right, so the first thing I need to do is we need to make sure there are no duplicate entries in this particular list. So that's the first thing before we do a bunch of the other stuff. So how do we make sure there is no duplicate? So if you're using Excel or Google Sheets, you may think, okay, Fahad, I think I know how it is. Go to data, there's going to be data cleanup, and click on remove duplicates. That's what you're thinking, but please don't do that. I'll tell you exactly why. The thing is, whenever there are duplicate contacts, right, sometimes contact A has more information than contact B, and if we do auto duplication, contact B with less information is going to stay, and contact A with more information is going to get deleted, because this has the actual proper data, this doesn't. So the best way to review it is by making sure you combine them by reviewing them individually. I know it takes a bit more time. Some CRM already has inbuilt feature. HubSpot already has it. If you go to the duplicate contact section, they allow you to merge things together, but most of you guys won't have this feature, and this is also a paid feature that you may or may not have access to. So that's why I think reviewing it like this is much important. So the way you do that is by highlighting here, click on format, click on conditional format, and once the entire column is selected, click on we're going to do a custom formula, and we're going to paste this custom formula. Okay, it's going to be equal to count F brackets star. It's going to be, since this is AC, so it's going to be AC, because it's AC, right? It's going to be AC2 into AC, and then AC2 greater. So all we're saying is, hey, if there is anything that's repeating twice, highlight them as red. I'm gonna make it as orange. Yeah, done. So now with this custom formula, what's gonna happen is, there is any duplicates. I've already cleaned this. This is a very clean database. So I'm just gonna show you exactly how it works. Let's scroll all the way down. So I'm gonna show you exactly how it works. If I'm gonna copy, for example, this guy, paste it in here, it's gonna highlight that particular thing. I believe I'm having some issues in my system where it's showing the incorrect one, like the one that's right above, like, you see this one, it shows above, same thing, it shows above, but it's a problem for me, but it works correctly. I'm not sure, I'm having some bugs with my Google Sheets right now, but you see how it's working, right? I want to use this exact formula, and if we start using this formula, it's going to highlight all the duplicates. And then what I want you to do is, it's quite simple. Create a filter by color, and then I need you to just start checking. Okay, hey, this thing has this has more information. Start manually reviewing everything. Okay, you know what, let's remove this aspect, remove this. You have to manually check and confirm that what data is needed, what's not needed, because it's very easy to remove all the duplicates just like that, but it's best practice to make sure that you don't delete the duplicates that have more information. So this is the first step that I need to do. In case you want to have full name instead, right? You want to have full name instead, and you split everything in separate places, and then you want to make a full name out of it. So it's pretty simple. There's a really good formula called concatenate. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. So select on the column which has your first name, click on comma, and then put in brackets. In brackets, I wanted to put space in between, so we can have space between first name and last name. Put comma again, select the last column, and then boom, and then you can just drag this, and it's gonna make full name from the first and last name that we properly separated now. So very easy, quite simple. Review the phone numbers, see if the phone numbers are properly formatted, see if the uppercase lowercase is done correctly. There are so many formulas, right? I'm not gonna go in detail. Uppercase, lowercase, it's so many formulas that you can use to make it uppercase, make it lowercase, to make the numbers formatted correctly, to make the emails formatted correctly. Email should be all lowercase. Use a simple formula called lower. It's gonna lower all the columns. And for the numbers, same thing. You can even use Excel itself to format them correctly, so that you can so you can click on right click, and you can make sure it's done properly. Like if there's a plus one that needs to be added in, it's pretty simple. Click on format, click on number, and in here click on custom number formatting, and then you can make sure the formatting is done correctly, right? So that's the key formatting stuff that needs to be done. So just to recap, the way you clean up the data is by removing any duplicates, formatting the name, email, removing any unnecessary characters, making sure the name, format, email, everything is done and structured correctly. And lastly, most importantly, this is very important, not all fields are the same for your new CRM system. So if you have basic text fields, right, that's totally for example full name, last name are all text fields, you put a text in there. But in some cases, like for example like in a contact owner, it's a drop down. So sometimes it's going to show drop down like this, sometimes it's not going to show up maybe I agree to be part of this, yes or no. So when you're moving on to the new CRM, right, it's very important that you abide by their rules. Now, some CRMs, you can't have, this is YY, see this is the format 20250818, it's YYYY DD format, because I know, because that's, I utilize this, it's that format. You can ask what the format is. This new CRM is going to be hey, I only accept things in this format. How do you know the format of your new CRM? It's very simple. When you go to the CRM, and every CRM will have an import option, right? You go to the import option, it's always going to give you a sample data. It always gives you a sample data. Look into the sample data, and it's going to tell you exactly how it expects the date, how it expects certain values. So you go to the CRM, look at their docs or look at the sample data, and it's going to be hey, this is how I expect certain things. And for drop downs, like the drop downs I showed you, for example, job type, it's the same repeating thing in drop down. So in such cases, some CRMs you can type in the text, right? But some CRMs don't allow you to do it. You have to put the option ID. So sometimes, how do we get the option ID? You can go to the custom fields, talk to the support to get it, or go to the custom fields and it's going to be there. So in here, I'm going to click on settings, I'm going to click on custom fields. So one example I can give you is I can't import, for example, assignee, right? There's an option called assignee. You see, so in the contact owner, if the contact owner name is Jonathan and I import this just like this, right? It's going to refuse and it's not going to have that information come in because the CRM is expecting the ID. So in order for me to get the ID, I have to go to the CRM, I have to go to the user information, get the ID from here and then put them in here. So yeah, I'm going to show you exactly how I did it. So yeah, so that's what I want you to do, right? I want you to replace the options. And how do we know this? It's by just looking at the documentations of the CRM. The CRM sample record is going to show you exactly what you need, how you want the data to be structured. So that's how you know that you need to put the options ID in there instead of having the actual value in there. Because yeah, it all depends on CRM, so I can't exactly tell. But you ask, hey, this custom field, this drop down, do we need to put the values in there? Do I need to put the ID in there? So either the support team or the AI is going to suggest these things, or the sample record you export is going to show you exactly how the sample is being expected. Sample record is the best way to do this. And all right, so that's the last important part in terms of cleaning up your data. All right, now that I'm hoping that you've done all these steps, you made sure the formatting is done correctly, you made sure any duplicates are removed, unnecessary characters are trimmed, and lastly and most importantly, you formatted the data in such a way that the options and the values aligning with the way in which the new CRM is expecting. Awesome. If that is done, let's move on to the next step. So now that we have all these things ready, that is the stages that we need, the custom fields that we need, the data that we need, and we cleaned up the data, we selected what we need and what we don't need. Now it's time to actually start setting up your new CRM system. So in the new CRM system, we need to make sure we do things like configuring the CRM account, going to the settings and deleting the right fields, creating the pipelines and stages that we just defined, making sure the settings are done correctly, domains, emails are connected, calendars are configured, forms are created, templates are created, phone numbers are connected, every right permissions are set correctly. All these unnecessary small things, right, that constitutes a proper CRM. We've done all these things. All right, so just so you guys know, before I move forward, I've created a detailed video on exactly how to do a proper CRM system from A to Z, right? I'm just briefing things up right now, but from A to Z, everything. How do we know what stages are important? How do we know what custom fields are important? How do we set up the right reporting? How do I set up the right automations? Every single thing in detail is created in this 30 to 45 minutes video, I think. Click on this link below, watch it, and on top of that, I want to hook you guys up with something even better for watching till this video. I want to attach a link below where you can click on it and download a free ebook on the best practices, the checklists, all these things in terms of migrating to a proper CRM. So download the checklist. So I also want to gift you guys with something else as well. Since you watched till the end of the video, you're listening to me yap till now. So I'm going to attach a link below. It's going to be a free guide plus a checklist on how to do proper migrations in detail. This is the exact SOP that I internally have for my team, and this is how I train them on doing migration projects that we have that we do for our clients. So I'm going to attach the link below. Feel free to download it. It's completely free. You don't have to pay for it. The only thing I ask in return is that you go down and click on the like button. Please tell the algorithm that this guy knows his shit. So click on the like button, come back to it. Let's get into it. All right. So once you configured all the things that I've said, right? All the configuration, the CRM pipeline stages you created, the different permissions and connections. The next thing I need to do is I needed to start migrating everything. Now it's time to migrate everything, because you've created everything. You created the stages, the options, the custom fields. Now let's start migrating into this new system that we created, right? So it's very important that you migrate things one step at a time, one object at a time, and the order of the object is very important as well. Please follow the object order that I'm about to share right now. First thing is import all the contacts. I wanted to import all the contacts that you have right now, and once you imported all the contacts, then comes companies, because companies are associated to contacts, right? Contacts are the main thing. So now that you import companies, it's already going to automatically assign itself, or join things together and associate itself together. That's why contacts first, then companies, and then deals and opportunities, because deals and opportunities are sometimes with accounts, sometimes with contacts. If you create the deals and opportunities first, then you bring the accounts, it's not going to associate itself. So make sure you follow this order: contacts, companies, deals / opportunities. And the next thing I need to do is I needed to start importing the forms that you guys have. Once the form is done, then I need to start importing the automations that you have. Now that the automations are imported in, start importing the reports that you have. And now that the reports are in, the last thing I need to do is import the templates, email templates, transcripts, anything of that sort. Now that can be imported. So technically we've imported 7 things: contacts first, companies second, opportunities / deals third, forms fourth, automations fifth, reports sixth, and lastly templates. So that's the order in which I need to go. So everything is going to be interconnected with each other. All right. At this stage, I want you to make sure that you're not adding extra things in there. Don't try to create new automations. Try to make it over fancy. Maybe porting no automations. Let's do something else as well. Now is not the time to start messing things up, because your first objective is not to make something better, is to make sure what you had before is here and it's properly working. Now that we've successfully migrated everything, right? I need you to make sure that whatever we've done is done correctly. And one very important thing, this is super duper important, is whenever you're about to migrate information, right, I never ever want you to migrate everything at the same time. It's a mistake I've learned from doing this multiple times for the last 4 years, 5 years I've been doing migrations, is that you never import everything at the same time. You import small 2 or 3 contacts, 2 or 3 opportunities, 2 or 3 deals or companies. You import them, you export. For example, I usually just copy like this, right? I create a new sheet. I call it sample sheet. I would call it sample sheet, and I would paste them in here. And then I would paste them in here, and then I try to import this. This is going to be imported, and then once this is imported, I go to the new CRM system. For example, I go to the contact section, then I try to cross check, okay, what all fields were actually moved in. Is the email there? Is this custom field there? I have 10 custom fields. Let's check all the custom fields. Custom field 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If they don't have any values, right? Because in here these many things don't have values. So how do we check it? Put sample data in there. Test. If this is a drop down, make sure the drop down value, for example, if drop down is yes or no, it has to be yes or no. If you do anything else, it's not going to work. So put the options in there and import the sample. See if it's properly working. Only once you confirm that it's fully working, start migrating everything. That's the best thing that's one of the best steps that I can share with you, because I've seen so many people, including me, in some of the client projects I've done where I messed it up, because I've imported everything at the same time, and then I've realized, shit, this custom field is yes or no, but for me it was true or false. Now I had to do the whole thing all over again. It's going to spend so much time, and sometimes you don't even think about it, you forgot about it. So it's very important in such cases that you import samples, and then you make sure once it's fully working, you import everything else. All right. So the second last step is QA and testing. Now that you moved everything in there, right, now I want you to check what is missing, because so many times I've seen so many people mess it up by importing. There's like, you have 10,000 contacts, they imported 9,000, 1,000 is missing, 200 is missing, 300 missing, and that's their key important clients. And because of that, they lost thousands, 10,000s, or even $100,000 because they forgot to import certain key deals that are supposed to be in their CRM. How do we make sure this situation doesn't happen again? It's by doing proper QA. That QA that I do is firstly through cross-checking. I firstly cross-check the numbers. I go to the contact section, I go to the contact section and I try to count how many have I imported so far. 4,500. So as you can see, it's going to show the contacts count. It's always going to be shown, or you can just click on the select all. It's going to show the numbers 1054, and you just go back to your old CRM. You go back to your old CRM and simply cross check. Hey, that has 4,100 or 1,500. Does this have 1,500 as well? No, it has 1,000. Shit, 500 is missing. I wanted to export the old CRM, export the new CRM, cross check. You can use formulas such as VLOOKUP. It's very simple. You put all the information in here. I use it all the time. The email is in here, and in the new CRM, you put them in here. You use a VLOOKUP. VLOOKUP, check this. Like, VLOOKUP, it's pretty simple. VLOOK formula, it's quite simple. Let me just quickly show you how. So I'm gonna exist or nah, something like this. So wherever is missing, right? If the 500, if whatever has the highest number, you often do that there. If this has 1,500 and this is 1,000, you do it in here. Just put a exist column, because we are going to be pulling this information. Yes. So we are pulling this information and we are telling it like, hey, equal to VLOOKUP. And we select what's the unique information based on which you're cross-checking. I'm going to use email, okay? I'm going to use email, and I'm going to go in here and I'm going to select from email, okay? From email, by the way, email, whatever unique identifier you're using to cross-check the other sheets, that has to start first. That has to be the first column, and then drag till that existing, right? Drag till you go there. So, sorry, 1 second. I need to select the entire thing, right? I selected. Right, 1 second. Okay, 1 second. Right, I'm gonna drag it like this. Exist. Now I need comma. Now I need to count how many are there. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. It's the 14th column, right? So I'm going to say I need you to bring the 14th column. So that's always saying, hey, this is the unique identifier. Start from the unique identifier, bring me the 14th column. And there is a thing called true and false, right? So last thing is putting true. So there is two options. There's true option and false option. True means you want the exact match. False means you don't want the exact match. Always select true because you want the exact match. And boom, it's going to bring in all the contacts where there is information in here. If that yes exists, that means that contact exists there. It's going to come out yes. If it's NA, that means that particular contact doesn't exist there. So now now you export all the NAs, N/As, all the ones that are missing, and then now you can add them back in again. This is how I cross check things. So use that simple formula to cross check things, and let's come back. Yeah, that's how you make sure that everything is properly added in. I do the same thing with custom fields as well. How do we make sure every single custom field has been added in? Out of a sample of 1,000, I take 10 contacts. Okay, let's take 10 contacts for example, and then I individually check one contact at a time. So hey, this one contact, does it have all the information? Let's cross check between this CRM, the old and the new one. So take 10 random it's called random sampling method. I learned it in school. This is the first time I'm using that word. I'm hoping that this is the first time I'm getting to use that thing. So it's called random sampling method. Shout out to my statistics teacher. But yeah, I do random sampling to confirm that all the samples are correct by taking random samples. Once you confirm that everything is accurate, boom, do the same thing for companies, do the same thing for deals. And for the automations, it's very important you test out the trigger, whatever the trigger is. If it's opportunity, move to this stage, you move the opportunity to that stage, move the opportunity of 5 opportunities to this stage, and see if it triggers the automation by checking the history and check the actions. And once you check everything, right, the actions are checked. For example, if it's form submission, submit the form, see what happens, and then check the automation, forms, reports, confirm all the data. And then I want you to take a particular contact, make them go from start to finish, the entire life cycle, make them go through the entire thing and see if it's properly being worked. If it's properly being worked, fucking awesome. You have completely successfully done it, Big G. Shout out to you. Now that you've done everything, the last and most important thing, this is super duper, super crucial. Yeah, I had to put so many supers in there, is because the success of a particular project is not based on if it was done correctly, but it's based on whether or not the team members are actually utilizing whatever you've built. I've seen so many times everything was done correctly. They spend tens of thousands of dollars, the board members, but guess what? The team doesn't give a shit. They are just too lazy, or they don't care. They were not properly trained. That's the most important thing. They were not properly trained to use the CRM. How do we avoid that situation? Is by having a proper documentation on exactly what you built. So this is one documentation I have for this client. So every single thing, right? Every single stage, every pipeline that we've created, every custom fields that we've created, all the migrated fields, right? We put them all in here. We explained everything in here. Like, hey, this is the stuff that we do. and even automations, right? Hey, for these automations, these are the things that we've done. This is what these automations do. These are the things that we migrated, and we have training videos for them. Hey, this is the training video on how to utilize this system, this system, this system, this system. And I want to show you another example, another SOP example that we sent to a client. This is for a client that we recently done. So on top of showing them everything that we built, we have a SOP training document. We show them exactly what all automations do we have, what does each automations do, what does the sales team have to do for it to work properly. For this lead processing automations to work, he has to manually update his Microsoft to-dos. He has to do this, he has to do that. Proper training videos, proper training documentations, plus training videos as well. So we give them both text and video visuals for them to be properly trained. And this is how you make sure that any single person who is about to use a CRM is properly and fully trained. And after that, you have successfully migrated your CRM. Kudos to you, Big G. Shout out to you. I'm kidding. I don't know why I keep saying Big G. I'm just too brain rotted at this point. But that's it. That's how you successfully migrate the CRM. Awesome, guys. So that's what a good, proper CRM migration looks like. You follow all these steps. You have a clean, structured, good, full-powered CRM system that you can start utilizing to fully kill it in your new business. And if you watch till the end of the video and you're like, you know what, Fahad, this seems awesome, but I don't have the time to do all these things. It's totally cool. This is exactly what my team does. If you watched till this section and you're like, you know what, Fahad, I can't be asked. This is too much. It's totally cool. This is exactly what my team has been doing for the last 4-5 years. Let us handle all your migration. So I'm going to attach the link in the description below. Click on that link. See if it's something that we could assist you with. Even if we can't assist you with something, I'm going to show you some tips, tricks that you can use in your business. So it's going to be some value addition call at the end of the day. So I look forward to seeing you on my next video. This is all I talk about: systems, automations, and AI. So subscribe, like, comment any questions that you may have. More than happy to answer them. We usually answer replies within 24 hours. So comment anything that's on your mind, and I will see you on the next one. If there's anything else you want me to talk about, right, in CRM automations, then yeah, please comment below so I can create a video on that. I will see you on the next one. Take care. Ciao. Bye bye.